Sorry, wrong number. You guys must be wondering. Actually, I make sure I answer all my calls from known, unknown, all numbers. Or if I'm unable to receive a call, I make sure that I call back. क्या पता कभी बच्चन साहब का फोन आ जाए? Anyway, hi, namaskar, me Sonalee Kulkarni, Marathi film actor. I've been doing Marathi films almost for last 14 years. 14 वर्षांचा वनवास असतो असं म्हणतात. But for me, it's been like living a dream. I remember when I went to a theater to watch a cinema first time in my life. I must have been like 5-6 years old. And to watch that screen was mesmerizing. Since then, I started dreaming of being on that big screen one day myself. Since then, I had my first relationship at the age of 5 or 6. And that was with my mirror. So like most of you sitting here, I was absolutely clueless about film industry. My parents come from government servants. They are like, my father was in the army, my mother worked in Central Ordnance Depot. So basically, absolutely no filmy background, a very humble middle-class background. They met here in Dehu Road and got married in Arandi, which is why Arandi is a very, very special place for me. Nobody had anything to do with film industry apart from watching films. Magar main maa ke pet se seekh ke aayi thi. No, it's not just a filmy dialogue. I can prove it. So this is my mother. She was pregnant with me for 4 months. This was the last time she performed on stage, and I danced into the world. So I've been dancing, doing drama, everything since then on stage. But I never thought I would make it into Marathi film industry. We never spoke Marathi at home because I also studied in an army school. So I never learned Marathi language, technically. Apart from the very little exposure I had from my Aji or Azoba, but trust me, it was really very, very little. So how did I land here? When I entered my teens, I would go for various auditions in Pune. And there was this beauty pageant audition one fine day. And I thought, there's no point going because you can see how tall I am. Only 5'2". But my mother forced me. I went for the audition and to my surprise, I was selected. Not just that, I ended up winning the runners-up with 5 out of 7 subtitles, which I believe was a history. But that was my moment when I realized की कधी-कधी बंधनं आपण आपलीच स्वतःला घालून घेतो. You know, we restrict our own selves. So that's where I realized that now onwards, I am going to go for everything that I can probably go for, like auditioning for films, television show, modeling, ad films, not because I thought I could do it all, but I did not know which route to take to reach my dream destination. So I was like, let's knock. Let's see which door opens. And that's how I ended up for a Marathi television show audition. I took half an hour to read half-page dialogues. But my makers were looking for a dancer, and they thought, this girl can speak Marathi because it's not Greek for her, so we'll give her the opportunity to learn. Yes, after that, obviously, I worked hard on the language, tried to learn it, reading, listening, speaking, practicing. Now, this was something I could do or change about myself or improve about myself. But there were other things that I couldn't change or wouldn't like to change given an opportunity. For example, my voice. So when I did a film, Gadva Se Lagna, where I had only 2 scenes, I wasn't allowed to dub for my own scenes because my makers thought, Rambhela asa bhasada avaz kasa chalel? I can prove that to you. Can we have the clipping?
नमस्कार. या ना आपण. तुम्ही निघावी आले हा.
Anyway, but today, very recently, I got an opportunity or an offer to dub for the biggest Indian cinema, Bahubali, in Marathi language for the uniqueness in my voice. But here I realized again that sometimes the qualities that you think are inferior or you might think are weaknesses for yourself can eventually become your own strengths or identities. Okay, so there's one more thing that I chose and decided not to change. That is my name. How many of you know any other Sachin Tendulkar wanting to become a cricketer? Have you heard of it? I haven't. My husband says there is this Shah Rukh Khan who plays for an IPL team. Do you know which team? Punjab? Okay, I'm not very sure. I don't follow IPL. But I'm sure that Shah Rukh Khan doesn't want to become an actor, so he has a safe life. But when I began in doing mainstream cinema in Marathi, when my first film was launching, a lot of people suggested I should change my name to avoid all the confusion in future. But my parents, who had given me the name, and my maker, who decided to launch me, said, "Kahich garaz nahi hai. She's from a different generation, so there's not going to be a clash. Don't worry, just go with it." But trust me, after that, what happened was not so easy to face. A lot of embarrassment, confusion, awkward moments. I used to get calls for auditions, events, meetings, just to know that they were looking for the other Sonalee Kulkarni. In fact, at one event, they had a huge poster of Sonalee Tai, and when I was entering, they played. I still went on the stage and made a speech. This is a funny story. So, at my first award show, when I was nominated for my first film, Bakura Namde Ghotare, and I meet a senior actor who comes and tells me, "Your name is Sonalee Kulkarni. You look like Varsha Usgaonkar. My dear, what is your originality? And how are you going to craft your own career?" That was heartbreaking. I didn't know what to react. So I was like clueless, and my thought break with an announcement which said, "The best actor for this evening, female actress, is Sonalee Kulkarni for Bakura Namde Ghotare." When I went on the stage, I did not know how to react because I was still lost in the previous thought. And I was like, breaking through the films, getting introduced is not everything. I needed to create my own identity for my existence. I think when you say this, शिद्दत से बोलते हैं ना जब कायनात को thoughts, then the universe starts conspiring for you. Something like that unreal happened for me. While I was receiving the award, somebody sitting in the audience, a filmmaker called Ravi Sadhav, decided to cast me in Nataranga. And we all know what happened after that. Apsara Ali became my primary introduction. And I know that it will be my identity forever. It's been over a decade since Natarang released, but I'm still basking in the glory of that nymph, the Apsara, the diva. That's it. End of my journey. Actually, no. It's just an interval here. Imagine you are standing on a beach, okay? Not moving an inch, still, just near the sea where the wave is touching your feet. What is going to happen? Let me tell you what happens. You will sink. Yeah? You will sink under your own weight. If you remain still, it's the sand, gravity. Okay, but if you decide to take a step further, will you leave a footprint behind? Which will again get washed away with another wave, my dear friends. So what do? Keep walking. Keep creating more footprints. And that is exactly how I decided to take my career ahead. That wasn't easy. It's not like walking on the beach in reality, you know. It's like if you want to break out from that box and the typecast image as an actor, it takes a lot. It's a risk of losing what you've already created. There are so many people wanting to replace you. No work, waiting, uncertainty, blah, blah, blah. But I decided to take that risk. I waited for 2 years for the kind of roles that I wanted to do and not keep repeating stuff like what I was already doing. Imagine 10 years out of my career, 2 years I was waiting, which is 20% of my peak time. And they say heroines have a very, very limited screen space or screen career. But then I took the risk. In fact, I thought, let's use this time to work on your own skills, because I was never trained in anything. I never learned dancing, acting, filmmaking, any drama, modulation, whatever. I did not get any technical training. So I was like a blank slate. I decided to utilize that time in developing my own skills. And when I thought the wait was too long, I started approaching filmmakers on my own who I believed would experiment. And at that time, when I was trying to find my foothold in the industry, I was fighting a lot of stereotypical ideas about how a Marathi film actress should or should not be. For example, glamour, stardom, diva, dancer, all these things were never associated with a Marathi female actor. For example, beauty. Now, the concept of beauty can differ for you and me, but stereotypically beautiful girls were only meant to be Shobhecha Bhauli and not substantial actors. So I had to now fight my own beauty. The topic, mirror, mirror on the wall, who are you fighting after all? Everything I was, I had to fight, prove, redo myself. So I decided, those 2 years, like I said, I was waiting and then the wait was over by approaching filmmakers. I should do films which would break my identity, starting from my looks. I did a film called Ajinta with Nitin Desai and experimented with my look. I did a film called Humpy where I went for a tomboy look without any glamour quotient in it. I decided to do a film like Rama Madhav where I wasn't Rama, which means I wasn't playing the title role, or I wasn't even the heroine of the film. I was playing a very, very supporting character who had a lot of gray shades in it. In fact, a lot of people ask me, why would I do this at the prime of my career? But my only answer to that was, I wanted people to now take seriously me as an actor. It's like you draw a line, and without touching it or editing it, how do you make it look insignificant? You draw another line parallel to it, which is bigger and brighter. That's quite simple, but it's not as simple when you're fighting your own career. But these little steps that I took from Ajinta to Rama Madhav took me there, to my dream role in Poster Girl. Poster Girl is a film which was based on a true story about female feticide, fertility of women and soil, and it spoke about a lot of issues that were very important in the society then. It made a huge impact in the society, as well as winning a lot of accolades for me and the film as well. It went on to become the biggest super hit of that time. Here, I'm proud to say that a very big stereotypical myth got shattered, that female-centric Marathi cinema do not do well on box office. In fact, the film left a huge impact on the society. For instance, a man from Nashik called saying he went and got his abandoned wife and daughter back because he had left her. I'm very proud to say that in India today, we have managed successfully to reverse the girl-child ratio, which is fabulous. How many of you imagined me as Hirkani? None of you. Don't shy away, even my producers did not. Nobody thought this urban girl could look like Hirkani. But then I went back to my relationship, my mirror. But this time I was not enacting anyone else's part. In fact, I looked in it, saw myself as Hirkani, believed that I could be Hirkani, started working hard on becoming that. It's always it starts from you imagining yourself first, then working hard on becoming that person or that thing. And then, my dear friend, you shall be seen exactly how you want to be seen. I worked very hard to become the Hirkani that we all had heard of since our childhood. I lost 5 to 6 kilos. Now, we do that. That's not a big deal. But I gave up on beauty regime for almost a year. Imagine no eyebrows, no haircuts, no nail, manicure, pedicure, facial bleach, almost for a year. And I work in the most presentable industry. So it was very tough for me to do that. In fact, I also learned how to milk cows because I was playing a milkmaid. The most important and difficult part was to develop motherly instincts. Every mother says कि जब तक तू माँ नहीं बनेगी तुझे एहसास नहीं होगा. I had to become mother on screen. That was tough. But I spent a lot of time with my baby, the on-screen baby. Anyway, so all that really paid off. Kulkarni did amazingly well on the box office, critically acclaimed. We got everything. We got all the love. Won hearts thanks to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Tenchi Punyai. Most importantly, I was talking about the footprints that I wanted to leave behind. That started coming into picture. Thankfully, these footprints don't get washed away because we as film industry people have the privilege to create our films and characters that remain forever, even after we are gone. Remember the call that I was talking about? क्या पता बच्चन साहब का फोन आ जाए? You know, he actually called. I actually thought I was sitting on the hot seat for at least a minute. But then he called and asked me to become a part of his family. Now, he does not have another son, and he was not asking me to marry him, but he did a short film in the pandemic to support Indian cinema, representing Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Punjabi, Bengali, and Hindi films. And he asked me to represent Marathi cinema. The fact that I tried to retain my authenticity while creating my new identity. And this will inspire me to go ahead and work in the same manner in future. But this wasn't possible without the industry support. So here I want to take an opportunity to thank the entire Marathi film industry for giving me the opportunity, teaching me, keeping patience, all the films I did, all the characters I played. कारण otherwise माझ्यावर हे मराठमोळे संस्कार कधीच झाले नसते. Thank you so much.